Hi, welcome to lesson 6 of arcs, sectors and angles in circles. Today we're going to be looking at calculating the angle at the centre from the sector area. But firstly, we're going to have a go at a couple of starter questions. Remember, wherever you see the pencil and paper icon, to copy the examples and notes into your notes jotter and complete the exercise into your class jotter. Right, let's have a look at question A. Here we've been asked to calculate the area of the minor sector POQ in a circle with a radius of 8 centimetres and an angle at the centre of 80 degrees. Pause the video and take however long you need to complete this question. Okay, let's have a look at our solution. So firstly, to get the sector area, we use the formula sector is equal to a fraction times the area of the circle. The radius is 8 centimetres. So if we put in our values, our minor sector POQ is equal to our angle 80 divided by 360 times the area pi r squared, so that's pi times the radius of 8 squared. And if we work that out on the calculator, you will get an overall area of 44.68 square centimetres. Let's have a look at example B. Here we're being asked to rearrange the formula so that it reads as A equals. Now remember, our method from this is change the side, change the sign. So let's have a look at this on the next slide. So we have the formula 5.2 equals A divided by 360 times 39, and we want to rearrange this formula so that it reads A equals. And our method, remember, is change the side, change the sign. Now we work left to right, so the first thing we're going to do is swap the left-hand side of the equation with the right-hand side of the equation. So we'll rewrite this as A divided by 360 times 39 equals 5.2. Next, we are going to move any term which does not contain A. So we need to move the times 39 over to the opposite side of the equal sign, in which case the times 39 becomes divide by 39. So we're left with A divided by 360 equals 5.2 divided by 3.9. Now we want to get the A on its own. So we need to move the 360 over to the other side of the equal sign as well. So when we move the 360 over, the divide by 360 becomes times by 360. And we now end up with A equals 5.2 divided by 39 times by 360. And if we put this into the calculator, we will get 48 degrees to the nearest whole degree. Okay, so now let's look at today's lesson, which is calculating the angle at the centre from the sector area. So by the end of today's lesson, we should be able to know the correct formula to use and calculate the centre angle using appropriate working and units. So let's have a look at our first example. Here we have a minor sector DOE, the green shaded area on the diagram, and it has an area of 94.07 square centimetres, and we want to find the size of the angle X. So in order to find X, we need to rearrange the sector formula because we have been given a sector area. So our sector formula was the sector is equal to a fraction times the area. We know the radius of the circle is 14 centimetres. So if we begin to put in our values, we have 94.07 equals X over 360 times our area of the circle, which is pi times the radius of 14 squared. Now we want to get x on its own, so we need to rearrange this formula. So the first thing we will do is swap the left-hand side with the right-hand side because we work left to right. So we rewrite this as x over 360 times the simplified version of the area, which is 615.75, and that is equal to 94.07. Again, just like in previous examples, the first thing we do now is move any term which does not contain x. So we're going to move the times by 615.75 over to the other side of the equal sign. And when we do this, it will become divide by 615.75. So the result is x divided by 360 equals 94.07 divided by 615.75. Our last and final step is to get the x on its own, so we need to move the divide by 360 over to the other side of the equal sign. When we do this, it becomes times by 360. So we're left with x equals 94.07 divided by 615.75 times by 360, and we end up with a final angle of 55 degrees to the nearest whole degree. Let's look at a second example now. So example 2. This time we have been given a major sector AOB, which you can see in the green shaded area. And this has an area of 235.62 square metres. We've been asked to find the size of angle X again. So again, to find the X, we need to rearrange the sector formula because we have been given the area of a sector. So sector is fraction times area, and our radius is 10 metres. Putting in our values, we have 235.62 equals x divided by 360 times by the area of the circle, which is pi times 10 squared. But we work left to right, so let's swap the left-hand side with the right-hand side. So x over 360 times 314.16, remember that's the simplified version of the area, is equal to 235.62. Next, we move any term which does not contain x. So we need to move 314.16 over to the other side of the equal sign, and it becomes divide by 314.16. So we're left with x divided by 360 equals 235.62 divided by 314.16. Lastly, we want the x on its own, so we need to move the 360. When we move that across, it becomes times by 360. So the result is x equals 235.62 divided by 314.16 times by 360. And we get an angle at the centre of 270 degrees. Now it's your turn. So again, you will have a series of questions here in the exercise. Complete these questions into your class jotter. Remember your formulae, sums, answers and units, and make sure you check and correct your work at the end so that you can post any messages or questions that you may have. Here goes.